Good morning students, this is your teacher Neelam Helawat and we'll continue the topic salts. This is a part 3 of the topic. So I hope you've understood so far, and if there is any doubt, any query that you have, you can talk to me, you can correspond with me. Okay, and please, it's my request, follow your NCERT only. Read your NCERT book, underline the important points in the book. I'm taking the complete data, complete information from the NCERT only. Okay, so first you need to master your NCERT, then only you refer to any other book if you want to, otherwise there is no need. Now coming to the next salts, yesterday we have talked about the 3 salts, so today we'll talk about the 4th, 5th and 6th. So 3 more salts we'll be talking today. The 4th is called the baking soda. Okay, commonly we call this salt as baking soda. I hope you heard this name, baking soda. Now its formula is NaHCO3 and chemically it is called sodium bicarbonate. It is chemically called sodium bicarbonate. Okay, next salt is washing soda. Washing soda, as the name suggests, it is used in washing. So it is Na2CO3. The formula is Na2CO3 and it is called sodium carbonate. Okay, it is called sodium carbonate. Then is plaster of Paris, that is POP. I hope you have heard this name again. POP. सुना है आप लोगों ने? Have you heard? We use it on our walls, isn't it? And its formula is CaSO4 half H2O and the chemical name is calcium sulfate hemihydrate. Okay, the name is calcium sulfate hemihydrate. What is its name? Calcium sulfate hemihydrate. So you got to remember the common name, the formula and its chemical name. They are very, very important. So next we have the baking soda. We'll talk about the baking soda. Since you have become familiar with the names, now we'll talk about how this baking soda is prepared. Okay. Now baking soda, for the preparation of baking soda we require 4 materials. One is the NaCl, water, carbon dioxide and ammonia. These 4 materials they are needed. These 4 materials, they will react with each other to produce 2 salts, that is ammonium chloride and the sodium hydrogen carbonate. Okay, it is called sodium hydrogen carbonate. So we will see, initially there are 2 salts which are produced, but we'll focus our study on NaHCO3. It is a very, very important salt, dear students, and from the board point of view also, and generally we have a question from this part itself. Okay, now you must have heard soda in your kitchen, isn't it? We use the soda for making the to cook something faster, like if you want to make the crispy pakora, if you want like if your mother has forgotten to put the chole in water, so she can add some amount of baking soda. Now one question, do we really add baking soda or baking powder? Have you heard these 2 names? Baking soda, baking powder. Now what do we add in cooking? Is it soda or it is baking powder? And anybody? See, in our cooking we always add baking powder. Now and there is no difference in the formula. The formula of the baking powder is also NaHCO3. There is no difference in the formula. So chemically the baking powder and the baking soda both are same, but the difference is baking soda is bitter in taste. Okay, baking soda is bitter in taste, soda is bitter in taste, kadwa hota hai ye. While baking powder is tasteless, it is tasteless. Now just imagine if you add baking soda in your cooking, then the substance that you are making, either vegetable or chole or you can say rajma, then they may become bitter, kadwa ho jayega wo. And if they become bitter, nobody will be able to eat, isn't it? So instead of adding baking soda, we always add baking powder. Now what is baking powder? Now baking powder is prepared by adding baking soda plus some amount of tartaric acid. See, we've talked about the neutralization reaction. Suna hai na aapne? Acid cancels the effect of base. So we add some amount of tartaric acid so the bitter taste is neutralized. Just to neutralize its taste, we add tartaric acid. Okay, so we always use baking powder in our food materials. We never use baking soda. This you keep in mind always. So if you are asked what are the components, what are the you can say constituents of baking powder, so there are two constituents of the baking powder, baking soda and tartaric acid. And what are the constituents of baking soda? There are four constituents: NaCl, water, CO2 and ammonia. So you have to be very clear, very careful while answering the questions. Clear? Next is why we add baking powder to the food materials. Now why we need to add the baking powder? Yeah, baking powder, why we add it, or why it leads to cooking faster. So what happens when you add baking soda to the substance, to the material that we need to cook faster? Okay, so suppose this is the material and I have added some amount of baking powder into it. So when I'll keep it on heat, means when I'll warm it, when this substance will be heated, automatically your baking powder gets heated up and it is converted into sodium salt plus water plus CO2. Okay, clear? So it will be converted into sodium salt plus water plus CO2, and this CO2 helps in cooking faster. And suppose if we are using this in making the cakes, then this CO2 will make the cakes fluffy and soft. Okay, so sometimes they may ask you why we use sodium bicarbonate for making cakes. So this you can say this is what happens. This carbon dioxide will make the cake soft and fluffy. Now coming to the uses of baking powder. First of all, I said baking powder, or you can say baking soda. If we are writing here baking soda, so first it is used to prepare baking powder. And how do we prepare baking powder? By mixing the soda with tartaric acid. Clear? And this is the reaction. Then we know that CO2 will be produced, and that will make the cake or bread to soft and spongy. Okay, dear students? Then sodium hydrogen carbonate is also used as antacid. See, it is basic. Basic means it will turn red litmus blue. So it is as basic. Okay, so if there is large amount of acid produced in a stomach, like we use ENO, isn't it? We were talking about if you have acidity problem, then we use ENO. So ENO has nothing but sodium hydrogen carbonate. Second, the most important, it is also used in making the soda acid fire extinguishers. You must have heard, if there is fire anywhere, okay, so everybody, even the police personals, they start using the extinguishers so that fire can be controlled easily. Those extinguishers have sodium hydrogen carbonate, and they have a small amount of acid in that, and these two react and carbon dioxide is produced, and thus the fire is set off. Next salt that we have is the washing soda. Now this washing soda is called sodium carbonate. It is called sodium carbonate. Okay, and how do we prepare? Now if we add, suppose we got to have two things, sodium carbonate, then we will add 10 molecules of water, then it will be converted into washing soda. 10 molecules of water has been added, and this formula will become Na2CO3.10H2. Now if you remember in the very beginning when I talked about the formula of washing soda, I have just written Na2CO3. Okay, because I wanted to clear here that Na2CO3 has 10 molecules of water, but it is not a liquid. Okay, it is not a liquid, it is in solid form. ये salt जो है solid होता है, although it contains water. Okay, it contains water, but it is solid. Clear है? Understood? And this amount of water which is present here does not make a salt liquid. So this is that molecule of water along which, when it is present, the substance is solid. It is crystals which are present. Have you ever seen the mishri? So like mishri sugar, so they are in the form of crystals. So sodium carbonate is also formed in the form of crystals, although it contains 10 molecules of water. Okay, and as the name suggests, washing soda, it is used in making soaps, it is used in making glass and paper industries. It is also used to make certain sodium compounds like borax, and it is also used as a cleaning agent for domestic purposes. Suppose you want to clean your floor, you want to, isn't it? You want to clean your car, then some amount of detergent soap you are using. And it is also used to remove the permanent hardness of water. This is one of the most important. So from board's point of view, this fourth point is very important, that name the salt which is, or you can say name the salt which is added to water to remove its hardness. Now do you know what is hard water? Any idea? Hard water means the water which contains calcium and magnesium salts. The water which contains calcium and magnesium salts. Okay, dear students? Now coming to another activity, that is your activity 2.15. Now suppose I have copper sulfate. What is the formula of copper sulfate, dear students? It is CuSO4.5H2O. Now just now we have talked about 10 molecules of water. So copper sulfate also has 5 molecules of water. Okay, copper also has 5 molecules of water. Now what is the color of this? The color is blue. The copper sulfate crystals, they are blue in color. Okay, they are blue in color. So we have taken a few crystals of copper sulfate in the test tube and we are heating it. So what will happen when we heat it? क्या होगा जब इसे हीट करेंगे? This water will evaporate. Okay, this water will evaporate. You can see some droplets of water here. See those droplets? Okay. And as this water evaporates, the color of the salt will change from blue to white. What was the color initially? It was blue. Now the color is white. Okay. So why the color is white? Because the water has evaporated. So the blue color of this salt is because of water. So copper sulfate is of blue color, but when we heat it, it will become white. Now suppose if I add few droplets of water again. Okay, so what will happen? Again the salt will become blue. So what will be your observation when we heat the crystals of this salt? So observation is, first, the color will change from blue to white. And secondly, we will observe few droplets of water on the inner surface of the test tube. Clear? Now this amount of water, see, we have seen in two salts. Sodium carbonate also has 10 molecules of water. Copper sulfate also has 5 molecules of water. This water is called the water of crystallization. Okay, this water is called the water of crystallization. So what is water of crystallization? It is a fixed number of water molecules present in one formula unit of salt. Means it is the amount of water which is present in the salt and the salt is in the solid form. Okay, that is called the water of crystallization. So copper sulfate has 5 molecules of water. Washing soda has 10 molecules of water. Okay, other than this, there is another salt which is called gypsum. Gypsum formula is CaSO4.2H2O. So this also has 2 molecules of water. Okay, dear students? So this also has 2 molecules of water. Now the last is your POP. Okay, the last part is POP. Your last salt. What is full form of POP? Plaster of Paris. Why do we call it as plaster of Paris? Any idea? It was initially discovered in Paris. That is why it is called POP. Right? And its chemical name is calcium sulfate hemihydrate. Isn't it? We discussed in the very beginning. Its formula is, its chemical name is calcium sulfate hemihydrate. And its formula is CaSO4.5H2O. Okay, its formula is CaSO4.5H2O. Okay, clear? Is it clear to everyone? Yes, okay. Now how do we prepare POP? Now POP is prepared from the gypsum. Okay, POP is prepared from gypsum. So what is the formula of gypsum? CaSO4 dot 2H2O. This is the formula of gypsum. Okay, when you heat it, it will be converted into CaSO4 dot half H2O. Right? So this is your gypsum and this is your POP. So when we heat gypsum is converted into POP. Right? When POP is mixed with water, 1.5 molecule of water, it can be again converted back to gypsum. So both are interconvertible. Means you can convert gypsum into POP and you can convert POP into gypsum. Okay. Now just tell me wherever we use POP. हम कहाँ POP use करते हैं? हाँ जी. Any answers everyone? See, we use POP for decorating our roofs, making certain flowers, isn't it? Secondly, we use POP in film industry for creating sets so that the film can be suited very well, isn't it? And then we again use plaster of Paris for making certain toys, isn't it? For making our surfaces smooth. And the most important, POP is used in hospitals for plastering, isn't it? If somebody has broken the bone, somebody has displaced the ligament, so they plaster it, isn't it? So that plaster is made up of plaster of Paris. Okay? I hope everybody has understood. And if there is any query, you will talk to me. Okay? Let's come to the few questions that I am discussing. What is the common name of the compound CaOCl2? The common name is bleaching powder. Okay, name the substance on which treatment with chlorine yields bleaching powder. That is calcium hydroxide, isn't it? Can you name a salt which makes the water soft? Just now we have discussed. It is washing soda. Okay. Then what will happen if a solution of sodium hydrogen carbonate is heated? अगर हम sodium hydrogen carbonate को heat करते हैं, just now we have talked about it, baking soda. When we heat it, it will convert into sodium carbonate, water and CO2 gas is released. Then reaction between POP and water. So CaSO4 dot half H2O plus 1.5 molecule of water is converted into gypsum. Okay everyone? Yes. So you will complete all the NCERT questions dear, because with this topic we have finished your chapter number 2. And you better start preparing this chapter for the test, isn't it? Make a complete notes of this topic, and there is any query, any problem, any discussion is required, you please talk to me. Okay? Bye everyone.